Google reveals that AI is now playing an active role in cyber attacks, helping hackers exploit vulnerabilities like the recent zero-day incident, underscoring the evolving threat landscape. For more, let's head to the Sunshine Coast. We're joined by Dr. Karen Sutherland from the University of the Sunshine Coast. Great to see you. How did Google identify the involvement of AI in developing the zero-day vulnerability, and what is it?
Google has its own amazing AI tools. So they're essentially using AI to identify these bad actors. And so, so what they did is they identified that these cyber attackers are trying to find the vulnerabilities that are like a zero-day incident. So basically, 0 days, it's like a hidden door in the software. And so what was about to happen is if they actually were successful, they would be able to bypass two-factor authentication. They'd still need the login details, but you can just see how AI is becoming increasingly clever in working out ways to circumvent the security that we have in place to try and stop bad actors.
I hang around for just an hour here at the Ticker offices in Melbourne, Karen. You would hear me constantly going, oh my God, Google needs me to sign in again. I feel like all I do all day on multiple devices is re-sign in for fear that I'm going to be hacked. And the idea that there was a vulnerability that it took AI, Google's AI, to work out that AI could find a way to get around two-factor authentication, it's pretty nuts.
Oh, absolutely great. And it's going to be harder to keep up with things. So you want the AI that's detecting this stuff to be as advanced as the AI trying to blast through these security measures. And I don't know how it's actually going to pan out. They did find it, which is good, but they're going to have to be vigilant and constantly checking to make sure that something like this can't happen. Because imagine, yes, two-factor authentication is a pain, but if you're hacked, I think it's even worse. I know I've got a laptop at the moment with the new Microsoft version where you have to Control-Alt-Delete and put in your PIN every time you're logging into anything. And then you've got two-factor authentication on top of that. So they're being like really stringent in the way it's working. But then you get other things like, I don't know if you saw last week in terms of social media, there were bad actors sending out requests to be added as a partner into Meta Business Suite last week. I got multiple replies from all the different business accounts that for my agency. And it just took someone to really click on that. So there's issues happening across the board, and I think AI is helping these bad actors to really amplify and increase their reach and become more clever, as we've discussed previously, because they're able to do all the back-end research to work out how they can make it seem like a real and legitimate request.
Yeah, it really is crazy, isn't it? It feels a bit like on the battlefield, drones versus drones one day. It's just going to be AI trying to hack AI that's trying to stop the hack. As we head into that world, it is a wild world out there. What does it say, the implications of the use of AI in cyber attacks? What does it say about cyber security? Because it is really a moving feast, isn't it?
Oh, 100%. And that's why I've said before, I'm not a cybersecurity expert, but businesses, you need to have someone on your team who is across this stuff because you're doing multiple tasks. You need an expert who can keep across just what is happening in this space and what you need to do because it is changing so quickly.
Should we have confidence, though, that Google's response was able to deal with the threat posed by this AI-driven cyber attack? Should we be able to look at that and say they got it under control?
Yes, and I think that's why they publicised it, to say, hey, look what we did. We managed to detect it and
don't mention the ones we couldn't stop.
Yeah, they've probably fixed that later, not allegedly. Yes, so I think it's good news that they did, but yeah, it's, as you said, it's a moving target, really.
Yeah, all right. Now, Instagram has disabled end-to-end encryption for messages, leaving users without the gold standard of security, while other Meta apps keep it intact. I've been quite confused by this because Meta says they're removing it because not enough people were using it. What is it?
It just means that when you're messaging someone, no one else can access those messages. And so they're lifting that security measure. They're saying, particularly on Instagram, they're saying it's because for child safety, so younger people on the platform, because if you can't access messages where there's grooming and abuse going on, you can't actually prove that. So that's what they're saying. That's one of the reasons why they're doing it. However, it can mean that messages can probably be hacked now. Meta can access them as well. They probably always could. Meta said they're not going to be looking at people's messages. I don't know about your messages, but mine are pretty boring. There's not much interesting stuff going on there. But
oh
it's
no,
just
that's
the fact
not
that
true.
People just, I think, relied on those security measures. So I hope they clearly inform people that their messages are not as secure as they used to be. So whatever they're doing on their messages, they're well informed about that, so they know to be careful.
It is confusing because you drive around town, billboards from Apple with the iPhone saying encryption, and people probably fall into this false sense of security that anything you do on your phone therefore is encrypted. But they're really talking about iMessage, aren't they? Not if you use a third-party app like Facebook or Instagram.
Yeah, 100%. So it really comes down to the measures that the actual app you're using has in place, for sure.
But obviously Meta owns WhatsApp as well, and that's an app where they're always talking about encryption and safety and security. I use WhatsApp for chatting to people overseas, and you're constantly reminded about the encryption side. I'm a bit like you. Have a look at my messages. It's what time can you join us for an interview? What are the implications, do you think, of losing the end-to-end encryption on Instagram? Why would they bother losing it if it ends up with people like you and I talking about it and that ongoing concern about security?
Yeah, look, I'm not sure why they did it. And they're not doing it on Messenger, so they haven't said that they're rolling it out there yet, but just specifically Instagram. So as I said, they're looking at it as a safety measure for younger people on the platform. But I think a lot of people rely on that. Maybe people won't message there anymore. They'll go somewhere else if they have something that they want to be private and secure. So it'll be interesting to see just how people react to that and respond. We have to just wait and see.
Very much. And I guess when we talk about the other Meta apps, so is it, you mentioned Facebook?
They've just said Instagram at this stage. So I don't know, sometimes Meta likes to pilot things and just try on one app and then see what the response is like and then roll it out more broadly. So maybe that's what they're doing here.
Yeah, very much. And I guess the idea of the end-to-end encryption, it is seen as the gold standard for messaging, isn't it? They're not moving to anything else?
No, they're just removing it. So it's a real security measure. So yeah, it's really interesting that they're doing that. I wonder if is it costing them extra money? What is the reason?
Yes, who knows? It is a strange one indeed. Really appreciate your insights as always, Dr. Karen Sutherland there from the University of the Sunshine Coast. Talk to you soon.
Thank you.